Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. And if this is your very first time here, yay, you found my channel. I'm so glad you're here. My goal is to give people the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend your time and money watching a specific film. I absolutely love movies, and you probably do too, since you're watching this. You can find me on Instagram as Movie Review Mom and as Trina Boice, which is my real name. You can also find me on Facebook. Join our Facebook group where we have lots of fun, interesting conversations and share funny memes, have contests and all kinds of stuff. Thank you so much for supporting this growing channel by giving it a thumbs up and, of course, subscribing. And while you're at it, be sure and ring that little bell and it'll notify you every time I upload a new movie review. All right, let's dive in. The movie I'm reviewing today is called Quarantine for Two. This cute rom-com is currently available on Amazon and will hit theaters just in time for Valentine's Day on February 11th, 2022 in select theaters. It's a perfect date night movie. It's rated PG and it's an hour and 25 minutes. So I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell where I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, talk about movie lines that I got a kick out of, themes worth talking about, and even some recommendations for some other similar movies that I think you might also like. Okay, so in a nutshell, a quick spreading virus has shut down the world. Gee, does that sound familiar? But when Kenzie and Chase connect in the unlikeliest of ways, they're faced with a perplexing question. How does dating work when you have to stay 6 feet apart? So that's the synopsis by the studio. And on a personal note, I wanted to tell you I adore director Kels Goodman and his wife. I got to meet them several years ago and even interviewed him. I'll run the interview after this movie review so you can watch that. But I always want his films to be successful. And so I tried very hard to review his movie without bias. And I can honestly say that it's really cute. So let's get on to the details. Here's the list of things that I really liked about the movie. First of all, it's extremely difficult to pull off a cast of only 2 people in a movie, or on stage for that matter. But this movie actually did a really good job with that. I really enjoyed Mason D. Davis as Chase. He appeared very natural on screen and exactly like some guys that I've known over the years. His performance was realistic, and I just laughed out loud when he first walked into his house and flipped off his shoes, and I could instantly tell his fun personality. And if you love him too, you can get a double dose of him as twins in the movie Identical Love. I'd never seen Whitney Palmer in anything before. She's lovely as Kenzie and also seemed like girls that I've known in real life. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of her to come. The movie poster itself is very cute and instantly drew me in. I definitely wanted to watch it. And I could tell that it was going to be contemporary and fun, some whimsical elements, and just something that I wanted to watch as like a date night movie. So good job on the movie poster too. So watching this couple's creative online dates actually gave me some ideas of things that I could do with my husband when one of us is out of town. I especially got a kick out of the fun scavenger hunt. I think you're really going to get a kick out of watching what they come up with. There's a comment about the street value of toilet paper during the quarantine that made me laugh out loud. And there are little details like that that make the story and scenes believable, such as featuring the mistakes a cell phone writes when listening to voice commands, where it just says the wrong thing and you hit send and you don't realize you did that, So the movie shows that kind of thing. And then it also shows this couple doing just everyday things like folding their laundry, gardening, and cooking. The banter of the couple is entertaining and felt real. And in fact, the movie does a really good job showing the awkwardness of dating and getting to know someone. I really appreciated that one of the characters was shown as an essential worker with great sensitivity to being around people who could expose her and her patients to COVID. I thought that was such a nice touch because our healthcare workers are absolutely some of the biggest heroes during this pandemic. And as of today, when I'm filming this movie review, we are still in the thick of the pandemic. Now, life isn't all romance and roses. So I was really glad that there were some challenges that were illustrated, especially ones that the couple would actually have to work through together to progress their relationship. When I got to the scene where one of the characters was eating a bowl of popcorn, I actually put the press screener on hold that the director personally gave me so that I could go and whip up a batch of popcorn to eat on my own. Now, snackage is not required to enjoy the movie. During one of the conversations, I was really impressed that Kenzie asked Chase what he needed during that particular phone conversation. Did he need to vent or did he need to be distracted? Now, oftentimes we just assume we know what people need and we give them what we think they need. And so I thought that that was a really golden nugget for relationship building to always ask, and that our expectations are often dashed when we don't get what we want. And if we haven't expressed what we want or need at the time, then it's our own fault, isn't it? Anyway, that was just a little relationship building tip. I always appreciate a good, clean film. Yay, there's no profanity or inappropriate scenes whatsoever. It is family friendly. Although I think kids are probably going to be less interested because it's, adults talking and, you know, there's no big action scenes or anything like that. So although the director is Christian, this is not one of those cheesy Christian films that bang you over the head with religious sermons. It's family friendly, sweet, clean, and entertaining. Now, with all of that praise, there were just a few little things that I didn't like or thought could have been better. For example, you're going to laugh at this one. How is it that a bachelor has decorated his home way nicer than the girl in the movie? She's got like white walls and hardly any decorations, and he's got this really nice house. I know that's not a criticism of the film. I just thought that that was kind of funny. Sometimes you can hear the hollowness of the room when people talk as if it were filmed in someone's real apartment rather than in a sound studio. And I'm guessing it actually was filmed in somebody's apartment and in somebody's home. They look like real homes rather than a sound studio. I think most of the time it was when we were in her apartment rather than his house. And I looked at her apartment to see how it was decorated. And she only had like blinds on her windows rather than lots of fabrics, curtains and throw rugs and throw blankets and things like that that would help to cushion the sound in the room itself. There are some cheesy moments, but it's okay. It's all in good fun and they didn't bother me. Now, let me give you some tips for parents. First of all, there's a lot of texting in the film, so viewers have to read the screen. There is talk of death. And as I mentioned, young kids are going to be bored because it's all about adults just talking, basically. However, if parents want to watch this with their older kids, there's nothing that they'll be embarrassed about their kids seeing. So that's good. So some of the themes that are illustrated really well in the film are quarantine during the current pandemic, of course, guilt, loss, creativity, romance, relationships, truth, boundaries, and second chances and taking chances. And just the split second after I said that, I realized the main guy's name is Chance. So there you go. Now I always write down funny lines and interesting lines, and I put them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. The funny line that I wrote down was when Chase first meets Kenzie by text, and he just says stupid stuff, and then he says, "I hate me." And then, of course, she says something similar afterwards. It's just that awkward dance of trying to get to know someone and be cool and be cute and, all of that, and just fumbling around on your words. And I definitely can relate to that. So there were a lot of interesting lines, and you can go to the website and read all of them. Now, one thing that made me sad about the movie is this mother-daughter relationship that Kenzie has with her mother. And her mother just sounds like a horrible person. She's very critical and not supportive at all. And so during one of the phone conversations, Whitney says, "I know I'm a failure in a lot of areas of my life, but I don't need to be reminded. And I thought that was really good counsel, not only for parents, but just for all of us in general, to be more supportive of one another. None of us is perfect. We're all struggling. We're all trying to do our best. And if we can show support and love, I think that would just be so much better. And then Chase says something pretty profound. He says, defining moments aren't always pretty. In fact, most of them are once you've hit rock bottom and have nowhere else to go. And oftentimes we do see each other in our worst moments of life, which is another reason why we need to offer grace and support and compassion. Certainly if we expect to be treated the same when we hit rock bottom. All right. So overall, I thought the movie was really cute. I love it that it's clean. I love that it's timely. I love the creativity and the fun, whimsical relationship, fun, creative dates that this couple came up with to get to know each other better. And I loved that they did get to know each other before they dove in for the big kiss, because they couldn't kiss. They had to stay 6 feet apart. And I wish all couples would take it nice and slowly like that, because once the hormones get involved, you just can't even think straight and make good decisions. All right. So my overall grade is a B+. Now, I wanted to give you some recommendations for a few other movies. One is very different from this, and another one is just sweet romance. So honestly, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a ton of pandemic movies coming out yet. Of course, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, so I'm sure they are soon to come. So the first movie is called Together. Now, I'm going to give you a hard heads up on this one because it's rated R for horrible language, tons and tons of F-bombs, but it is absolutely fantastic in acting, 2 stellar performances. It's like watching a masterclass in acting. Fantastic performances by James McAvoy, love him, and Sharon Horgan, who might be somewhat unfamiliar to some American audiences. Anyway, both stellar. But again, giving you a heads up on the language, it's a very different experience because they're a married couple and they are driving each other crazy during quarantine and trying to work through a lot of their relationship issues. And then the other one is just sweet, clean romance, perfect for date night, perfect family viewing. It's called Kate and Leopold. And I've seen it twice, but it was years ago. But for some reason, I thought of that movie as I was watching this one, just because I guess it was just so refreshingly clean and sweet. And so I highly recommend that one if you haven't seen it, with Meg Ryan and the incredibly talented Hugh Jackman. All right, that's it for my review. I hope that if you watch this movie, you do get a kick out of it. And thank you all for all of your support and for going over and visiting me over on Patreon. I really appreciate that too. All right, I will catch you in the next movie review. And until then, bye for now.